Howdy folks, I'm wandering wild indigo duskwing, wildly weaving through windswept wildernesses.
I'm Amber.
And here are more windswept wildernesses for us to navigate through, to go left and right through, and line through, because they're Reddit stories. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for Sticking to the Financial Rules That My Husband Made Years Ago? Obligatory throwaway. When my husband, R, and I first moved in together, we started putting a percent of our earnings into a joint account to cover rent, bills, etc. He explained that he had a side business and insisted that his money from it was for his own personal use, and I was fine with this arrangement. Well, the first few years together, he was doing pretty well, in the realm of $300 to $500 per week. However, the last couple of years, it's really dropped off, and he's had a few issues with orders and demand. But whatever the reason is, he's been getting maybe up to $50 on a good week, often nothing. Meanwhile, I began my own side gig last October, which really took off to my great surprise. When I started, I said that I would be using the profits that I have for fun experiences, thinking that it would be a couple $100s a month. Well, I'm around the $8,000 mark for sales, of which I've used to fund family days out, make birthdays, and Christmas is a little grander, and I've also put down a deposit on a holiday, which R was completely on board with. But now R is getting bitter about how well I'm doing. He's made a few snide comments, but now it feels like outright disdain. I bought our son an iPad for his birthday this week, and that sent my husband over the edge. It's unfair that he hasn't bought himself so much as a new video game in the last few months, but our son gets an iPad, etc. It turned into a huge fight about how I'm buying all these lavish things when he can't even afford them anymore. He told me that because I'm now getting all this extra income, I should be putting more into our joint account so that he can keep more of his paycheck for himself. I must stress that all of our bills are covered, and he does have the money each week left over from his salary. It's only been since launching that I've had the ability to splurge, whereas previously I had to save for big things. So I refused. He set the rules that his side earnings were just for him, and it's only fair that the same rules apply to me. There were months where he was making thousands a month, and we never changed our budget. I spent years watching him buy new computers, consoles, and ungodly amounts of money on card games, and I've never complained about it. It's not reasonable to try and change the rules now that it doesn't suit him, and it's not like he's not benefiting from the experiences and holiday. He tried to argue that it was different, but couldn't say how, other than he hasn't made that sort of money in ages. I stood firmly on my no, he called me a few choice names and stormed out. I know what's good for the goose should be good for the gander, but I just kind of feel bad. There were times when I was jealous and I had to save for months for things that he could just buy outright. So I empathize, but I also wonder if I'm jaded now because of it. Like maybe putting an extra 100 into the joint account would be worth avoiding the argument. Am I the jerk for refusing because the rule he established years ago? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. Why should it be that his money is his money, but your money is also his money? Now, of note, in the comments, it seems like he spent his money almost entirely on himself. He would occasionally do like joint things like tickets for a concert that OP wanted to go to, but he also went to. But OP has been doing the lion's share of purchases in terms of the kids for a long time. And he also, when he got a pay bump, did not increase the proportion he was giving to their household income. And so all of this seems to me like OP has been using this money to do things for the whole family. And like she deserves to be able to treat herself. But like up to this point, you know, she's been very generous with the money. And the fact that this man is over here like throwing a fit because his kid got a birthday present, like it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, what do you think of the whole insulting her?
I mean, I think that's gross. And I think he's really showing, I mean, all of this shows that he's a very self-centered person. You know, when it was his money, he didn't treat people. And like, I can't imagine
He treated himself.
Well, he treated himself, but like he didn't treat his family. His priorities are always himself. And so, you know, like I can't imagine having that much of an income disparity and like not wanting to do anything nice for my partner.
Yeah, well, the big thing that I have a problem with here is that he spent so much money on himself, and it just feels like at this point in time, he was used to having that extra income and source to kind of spend on himself. And now that he doesn't have that, he's feeling jaded about it. And,
Right. It's almost like he feels like he's owed it. And so
yeah.
now Opie has money. Well, that should be his money because he deserves it.
And kind of what I'm confused about is I don't think OP's making $8,000 a week. I think what they mean there
Is
is that,
since they started the business in
yeah.
October.
So, October, how many dollars is that per month?
It's like a little under, it's like $1,600 a month.
That's not even like the $500 a week he was making, right? So if OP isn't making like $8,000 a week and it's like closer to like the, $1,500 a month type of thing, he really has no room to complain at all because this is the exact same situation that it was when he was earning this money, right?
Right. And I mean, I think he needs to work on himself and find out why he is so resentful of the rest of his family having nice things. Like, again, it's not like OP is neglecting him. She's like planning this vacation to take him on.
Yeah.
She's been splurging on other family trips. And so I just see a serious disparity in how much they care for each other.
Yeah, it definitely feels like he cares less about OP and more about himself, and OP cares more about the family.
Right. Well, and the kids too. Like, was one comment where he was like, saying in front of the 10-year-old about complaining about this in front of the 10-year-old to the point where the 10-year-old was like, "Dad, you can borrow my iPad."
Yeah.
And like that is so despicable.
It is. It is. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for stealing shampoo, snacks, face wash, or socks from my boyfriend when I stay over? And Amber wants to read this one.
Burner account because I think he knows my other one. I'm a 19-year-old female and my boyfriend is a 24-year-old male, and we've been dating for about 2 years now. He is amazing and perfect in so many ways. However, there is this one thing that keeps bothering me, and that is that he does not let me use anything of his. If I go stay at his house for the weekend, I am not allowed to borrow shampoo, food, socks, laundry detergent, or even like plastic silverware. Anything I use or eat while I'm at his house, I have to bring there, which means that I have to pack up a lot of things. Sometimes I forget items to bring, as I pretty much have to pack up half my apartment, and so sometimes I have to steal something of his. I use the littlest amount possible. For example, if I forgot my shampoo, I will use less than I normally do of his. Plus, I tend to slip like a $5 bill in his wallet if I have borrowed anything so that it equals out. Usually he doesn't even notice. However, this weekend he had all off work on Monday and I had no classes, so I decided to stay an extra day longer. My roommates are slobs, so every day away from them is amazing. However, that meant that I was one day of clothes short. I was just going to reuse my sweatpants and t-shirt because that weekend we had not done much. However, one thing I cannot stand is reusing socks. So I borrowed a pair of his and I did not ask as I knew from the past he would say no. After that day, I put his socks in the laundry, slipped a $5 bill in his wallet, and headed home. However, he did his laundry and realized that there was one more pair of socks than normal and confronted me. I feel really bad, but at the same time, I feel as though he should not be so stingy with his stuff. It is not a money aspect as he makes a ton of money with his job. I have no clue what to do, but I am tired of feeling like my boyfriend values 5 cents worth of shampoo over me. Am I the jerk?
All right, folks, what do you think?
I think just break up with him. It's clear that you two have different values about sharing things, and this doesn't feel like a partnership at all. It feels like a really, really uncomfortable roommate situation.
Well, I mean, I think that he is really showing that he values like the 5 cents over OP, right?
Well, the thing is, like, OP is like slipping him money that's way more.
Yeah.
So I think it might just be like that he doesn't want anyone touching his stuff.
Yeah.
Type of thing. But like plastic silverware, food, like I can understand some things, but this feels really excessive.
Well, when you're a host, you have to be hospitable towards your guests, right? And as long as OP isn't taking advantage, there isn't anything unreasonable about using his food, eating his food, or using shampoo, or using toothpaste, or any number of things here, right? As long as it's like not like the whole tube toothpaste.
Yeah, like I can't imagine inviting someone over to my house and being like, "Oh yeah, by the way, you have to bring your own food and your own silverware."
I'm surprised he's not asking her to bring her own water to flush the toilet with, because like this is to the point where I'm surprised he's not charging her for the electricity or even the air that she breathes while she's in the house. Like, this is just absurd, right?
And whatever other good qualities he has, it seems like this is, like, I couldn't tolerate being with someone. And what's the plan? Like, are you always going to live separately? if you move in together, will he have like everything a dividing line in the refrigerator and like you don't touch this? Like it does not feel like a partnership.
Well, and I also want to know, is this reciprocated? Like, if
Hmm.
he goes over to OP's house, does he use things of OP's, right?
Yeah, that was my question too.
And like, if they move in together, like what you're saying, is the house going to just be split down the middle for, his stuff versus your stuff? And is that really going to be a partnership?
Right, because when you're in a long-term relationship, a lot of times it's not convenient to have everything divided half down the middle, the towels, what if you have, like, do you need to have all separate towels and, all separate food, all separate meals?
Yeah.
Are you not making meals together? Like, also, like, that's usually a thing people will do. And, like, are you always going to have separate meals? Like, you each cook your own food?
Yeah. So the whole situation just does not seem like a partnership to me. And I don't know if this is like some grand, like, test that he's doing or what exactly.
I mean, some people are just really particular, and I'm hoping it's one of those situations where he's just really, really particular and can't understand what he's doing. But again, it doesn't feel like a partnership at that point in time.
Yeah, the whole food thing really bothers me
So
because, like,
much.
this is just unreasonable. You don't expect someone to bring food over to your house, right?
Hmm.
Like, I don't know. I don't know what OP is doing here.
Well, and like counting his socks when he does his laundry, like,
Yeah.
oh, look, there's an extra pair of socks in the wash. Clearly, my girlfriend has used these. I need to go chew her out.
No, I mean, if he's paying that close attention to this stuff, then maybe he has like some kind of almost like obsessive compulsive
There
behavior.
could be some kind of psychological thing that he's dealing with, and that is what I was wondering. But like again, that's on him
Yeah.
to get therapy to help with it. It doesn't sound like he wants to change. It sounds like he's contented with the status quo.
Yeah, I would say if he has mental health struggles and he's working on those mental health struggles and OP's aware of that, then that kind of changes the whole situation a little bit. But if that's not the case and there isn't any, reason other than him being a very selfish individual, then there's probably not much hope for this relationship. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, My 36-year-old male husband can't handle the open marriage he asked for. I am a 28-year-old female. A little bit of backstory. Me and my husband met when I was 20 years old and started dating when I turned 22. We married when I was 23. Yes, a year later, lol. Our marriage, in my opinion, was great. We cooked, we cleaned, we worked, and we were intimate almost every day. I kept my body in great shape, and so does he. He's not the first guy that I've dated, nor did I lose my virginity to him. Anyways, everything seemed great until 3 months ago when he asked to spice up our marriage. At first, I thought that we would be trying something new in the bedroom, so I was excited. We've done almost everything, so I thought that he found something new, like a new position or a role play or something like that. But I was wrong, and he asked for an open marriage. And at first, I was going to say no, but I felt like now I had to show him that it's not what he thinks it is. So I said yes, and I agreed. He was a little confused because he didn't need to convince me or ask me more than once. He asked me and said, "Really? You want to do that?" And I responded calm and uncaringly and said, "Sure, I don't mind." Anyways, he started doing his thing, and so did I. After the first 2 months, he was upset because I was going out more than him and attracting men very easily without even trying. I tried to explain to him that men and women are different. Women don't need to approach a man, and they will come to us naturally, while for men, the roles are reversed. Anyways, we went to the bar one night together, and he saw in person when 4 men brought me drinks and asked me to dance with them, so I did. Once me and him got home, he started crying. I was so confused and asked what was wrong. He said, "I don't like sharing you with other men, and I want to stop. I hate imagining them with you." I said, "Okay," and just went to bed. So my question is, why would he ask for something that he can't handle what he dishes out? Will this ruin our marriage and trust for each other? Edit, we don't have children. All right, folks, what do you think?
I mean, I would recommend going to couples counseling if you want to salvage the relationship at this point in time. I don't think there's anything wrong with what OP did. I think what he was asking for was a selfish ask, and he had a very different expectation. It's clear he wanted everything on his end open, and he didn't want OP really having anything going on. And when the exact opposite happened, it was very upsetting for him. But moving forward, now he knows, like, do you still want to continue in a relationship with him? If he's, going to break down and be upset every time you go out with someone, like, I think it's time to figure out what you actually want long term.
I mean, I think that OP and him need to sit down and figure out if they want to continue this open relationship type of thing. And I think that OP needs to decide if this is the marriage or relationship that they want. And, the thing is that at this point in time, OP just sounded like they were very disgusted with his even ask about this, right? And he thought that he was going to, like, the fantasy that he had about the situation was not the way the reality played out, right?
Which is almost never how it works. Like, it always, these people, they assume that, oh, I'm going to have everyone coming to me. It's going to be great. Like, did you not realize your partner is desirable? Are you like that in your head that you think you're like the greatest thing to ever walk this earth and your partner is just kind of there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really surprised at how often these kinds of stories show up and that people still continue to not understand the consequences of their actions here, right? I mean, if you're not prepared to see your partner with other people, then you're not prepared for an open relationship, right? And, the thing is that he clearly isn't ready for an open relationship or isn't comfortable with an open relationship, and that's fine, right? Like, that's a perfectly reasonable position to be in. But I think the sooner that they work through this in like counseling, it's going to be better if they really do want to salvage this relationship, because I think that there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes out of this, whether OP, meant to hurt him or not, he's going to probably now be hurt, and I don't know if that's really going to I don't know how that's going to go over with the relationship. I just don't know, right?
Right. Well, I mean, hopefully the counselor will be able to mediate in a way and help him to see his wrongdoing in all of this and help him to see the value in his partnership with OP.
Yeah.
Because it seems like he was just taking her for granted, and she was just kind of like, he had this fantasy of having all these women coming to him and whatnot, and she was just one of them.
Yeah.
And hopefully this is the wake-up call he needs, but yeah, I definitely think they need some marriage counseling if they're going to continue with this relationship.
Yeah, well, and I really hope this was the blow to his ego that he needed to be like a better person and treat his partner more equitably, and actually like a real partner, and not someone,
not she's disposable.
Yeah, like she's part of his harem or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's a sad situation. Their relationship might not survive. Who knows? It's gonna probably be damage that needs to be fixed.
But I mean, I want to make it clear that OP is not in the wrong for doing this.
No, I don't think so.
He's the one who opened the door, and couldn't see past his own ego what would happen.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What might you call a hilarious hair?
What would I call a hilarious hair? Well, I would call it the hair that tickled me.
Well, like HARE hair.
No, it's just the hair. It's funny. It's hilarious. It tickles my nose. Ha 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 ha. I'm laughing now because of the hair.
A funny bunny.
A funny bunny.
And today is Don't Go to Work Unless It's Fun Day.
So, if you don't feel like going to work, Amber has now given you full permission not to go to work today if it's not fun.
Yeah, but make sure to check with your job. You can't just take my word. I unfortunately cannot give you a blanket pass.
Yes. Please insert the gif of the I don't want to go to work today song.
We got work. I don't really want to do the work today. I don't really want to do the work today.
And this month is also National Grilled Cheese Month.
Ooh. Go find yourself some grilled cheese, preferably one that you own, and eat it.
Yes, enjoy your day off with some grilled cheese.
Yes, and some soup. Maybe a nice bowl of tomato soup and some grilled cheese. That would be a really nice comfort food right there. And I have Mega Mint. And we're like, gross.
I'm not a fan of tomato soup. I mean, I like a lot of soups, but not tomato.
Mushroom soup.
No, I don't like the ones where they're just like a liquid. They need to have like something in them.
Mushroom soup, chicken noodle soup.
Veggie noodle soup.
Veggie noodle soup. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Friday Junior, folks. Wow, can you believe it? It's almost the end of the week.
Happy Friday, Junior.
Amber. Oh, and thanks so much to Amber for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. Please have it on Untitled Partners.
It's important to value what your partner brings to the relationship, assuming they bring something to the relationship and aren't like the entitled partners in these stories, in which case it's probably best to not be in a relationship with them anymore.
Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.